Guys, this is Mount Chavano. It is a high mountain summit of the Rocky Mountains. So when a group of coworkers decided that a smart company retreat would be to summit Mount Chavano, they clearly didn't consider that the trek might not be the easiest for everyone. For one man, we're just going to call him Gary. This is not Gary. This is
that's Gary.
They didn't take into consideration that Gary probably shouldn't be on this trip. So as they climbed, Gary naturally fell behind. But the air was so thin that Gary became disoriented. And by this time, the rest of the group had already left him, but he trekked on. He's like, I'm going to do it. What's hilarious is that he sent them a pin drop. He's like, guys, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. So he sent them a pin drop on his phone. And they got the pin and they were like, look at where Gary is. What an idiot.
Oh, yeah. Good morning and welcome to episode 1535 of Hard Factor. It is Thursday, August 29th, 2024. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80-ish% accuracy guaranteed on this podcast. Patreon.com/Hard Factor if you need more Hard Factor, which you can get up to 3 weekly bonus podcasts on there, plus Discord chat access. Patreon.com/Hard Factor. Today, Pat's got an election season update to kick off the show.
Yeah, because we're 69 days away from the election.
Nice.
So I made a little graphic of Donald Trump.
So nice.
Kamala Harris 69ing.
Oh, cool. Wonderful.
We're going to move up an inch.
But I printed it out and put it under my bed because it's just for me.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you're not the first person to do that. There's been a lot of AI imagery about them like making out and stuff I've seen.
Really?
Yeah, one video of them like having a family together. That one
Walking on the beach.
Kamala, will you move down just an inch?
Wes has a work retreat gone wrong to tell us about.
There's going to be a little bit of different social circles in this office after this retreat. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
So the social landscape has shifted.
There's going to be some divisions in the office.
Some divisions,
The
some
dynamic
hatred,
shift.
possibly some murders.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's an explosive work trip.
Yeah, it really was.
All right, can't wait to find out. I've got the latest.
Really was.
I've got the latest on Armie Hammer. I'm sure everybody's been wanting to know what he's up to.
Yeah, I saw that headline. It's the craziest headline I've ever seen.
He claims he's not, Wes. We'll get into it. I mean, he's, it's all alleged. Okay. There's a lot of, he's working through a lot.
I don't know about that, Will. I mean, whether he acted on it or not, the DMs were from him talking about eating people.
Yeah. I mean,
those weren't alleged. Whether he actually ate people or not is certainly speculative. But
there was the multiple accusations. There's like probably the restraining orders and whatnot.
At a minimum, he's like a Wrigglesman with his Bigfoot fetish with cannibal.
He's working through it. He's working through it, and I think he and
RFK are attending group meetings together.
What's funny, Wes? We'll talk more about this when we get down to Armie, but he reminds me a lot of RFK. He has an RFK vibe about him. Like in his video, in which we're
both comes from historic families. I was saying if you had a medium budget to make a zombie film, and you knew the zombie film wasn't going to be like that great, and it wasn't going to be like $100 million project, I would spend every cent on just getting Armie Hammer and have this terrible graphics and terrible set pieces, pay no one else. And just if you get Armie Hammer to be a zombie, everyone will go see it.
I saw your text about that, Mark, yesterday, and you were way overshooting what you'd have to pay him.
No, we could get him for cheap.
I'd still give him 90% of the budget.
You're going to see how down on his luck he is in just a few minutes. So don't worry, Mark. We can probably afford to make that movie. And
killer.
Yeah, well, we should think about it because he's got the chops. You'll see. And Mark's got some good news. Chomps? You're right. He has the chops. And Mark's got some good news, bad news to close out the pod.
I found a good story this week. But then
nice.
Then I found another bad one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do the bad one first, please.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Fine.
real quick though. Happy birthday, Pat, from Nick Miller. We're recording.
Oh,
now.
stop. Stop, Nick.
What are you,
Also-
29?
Plus 10.
Pretty good. Leonard Shields is watching from Regina, Saskatchewan. So
It's
thank you,
Regina. Regina.
Leonard.
I'm not
Regina?
kidding. Regina.
Thank you.
That's how they pronounce
I'm
it.
watching
They,
inside the
they don't even
vagina.
laugh when they say it. They just say it. They say it right to you. Oh, welcome to Regina. And you say, come on, it's Regina.
Yeah.
And no.
They add a little V to the front.
Yep. Have you guys ever been to Pennis, Idaho?
Not been to
Do they
Penis,
say-
Idaho.
Nope.
Not a place, but they do call it Regina.
Yeah.
Interesting pronunciation.
You boys want to get in the
First-
news?
Yeah, real quick.
Let's go first.
Where's the trout?
Where's the
It's
trap?
Regina.
It's in the Regina.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about the politics of the day. Huge situation. We're 69 days away from the election. It's all happening. Almost too much news. Bunch of topics, all related to Donald Trump and Kamala Harris and their respective campaigns. First, we're talking about superseding indictments. A superseding indictment was filed there in Washington, D.C. I'm sorry,
All right.
I think Washington, D.C. and Atlanta. But essentially, Jack Smith, who's the special counsel who was assigned to looking into the 3 Trump cases, is trying to figure out how to revive the cases.
He said, Your Honor, I'm never going to stop fucking this chicken. Okay. Here's the new paperwork.
So here's what he did. First things first, let's talk about down in Florida with Eileen Cannon, who, by the way, I've pointed out on the show, no one's really talking about it. Her husband was a C-level executive at BurgerFi, which is a company that was owned by Donald Trump's mafia buddy from the 1970s, who was also a soldier for the Colombo crime family and started Trump limousines with him. But that's a whole other ball of wax. It's just a coincidence that Eileen Cannon, who is a very green judge, got assigned and appointed to the federal bench. Totally a coincidence. But, okay, Jack Smith appealed to the 11th Circuit Court, okay, who's the superior to Eileen Cannon. Now, he's done this 2 times since the documents case was brought, and both times the 11th Circuit reversed Judge Cannon's decisions. A lot of legal scholars are saying, what's this lady doing? Now, when she tossed the case, right, the Supreme Court had ruled on Trump's presidential immunity, not just Trump's, but all presidential immunity. And in that ruling, there was a weird diatribe from Clarence Thomas. It was like a multiple page kind of wander from anything having to do with the immunity ruling. And it kind of was a smoke signal, a lot of people think, to Judge Cannon, essentially saying, hey, Cannon, I can't tell you directly, but if you read this brief, here's exactly an argument that you can use to get the elections, the documents case tossed, okay? But people
Why
are
didn't you
saying
just tell her on a fancy vacation?
that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you got to go on vacation.
That would have been less paper trail.
You
Would've
get
been-
the Koch brothers to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
Right.
Come out to
Anyway,
the aft. Let me tell you something.
most people are saying that her decision is going to get reversed. Like there's partisanism, there's both sides, but I've read a lot of legal opinions, and people are like, "What the fuck is this lady doing?" They're like, she's really fucking up. Jack Smith said, "This is from his brief asking for her decision throwing the case out to be overturned. For more than 150 years, attorneys general have appointed special counsels to investigate and prosecute some of the nation's most consequential cases. This is deeply rooted in tradition of appointing an outside." This quote. Deeply rooted tradition of appointing an outside prosecutor run particular federal investigations. And that was Brett Kavanaugh who said that. So he quoted Brett Kavanaugh, who's on the Supreme Court, and the key justice of the Supreme Court, Roberts. Quoted both those guys in their brief.
Pat,
Things
spoon
that-
feed it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah,
Give me-
He's going to get him this
sum it up,
time.
Sum it
Jack
up,
Smith-
sum it up in 3
Jack
seconds.
Smith
What's
is
going on
going to
here?
get Trump this time.
You feel
Can't-
me,
they
Wes?
did, they,
You
they
lost
didn't ask
too?
for. They
Oh,
didn't
I'm
ask for.
lost.
Okay. I'll sum it up.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks Cannon's an idiot. Her decision's going to get reversed. And
what was that decision again?
to toss that case out, the documents case in Florida. There's a superseding indictment filed essentially to avoid the presidential immunity ruling from the Supreme Court, as well, saying, hey, you ruled that certain things the president's immune from being prosecuted for, so here's a new indictment that kind of avoids all that shit. That's
I'm
what
sure
you're
that
making
one's.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's get to Arlington National Cemetery.
He gets carried away. He's the judicial guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He gets carried away.
Spent like so many hours reading about it, and then you have all this
Remember who we are.
information.
You gotta remember who
want
we
to get
are.
it out.
Submitted to the Supreme Court is funny.
Remember your audience.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. It's my birthday. And
He's wiser
let's-
already. Okay.
let's go to the cemetery, Arlington National. First off, 3-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate debacle, where 13 servicemen and women were killed in a suicide bomb attack in Kabul in Afghanistan during the botched pullout. Okay. 3 years ago that happened. And there was a wreath-laying ceremony in Arlington National.
R.I.P. Max.
R.I.P. Max.
Absolutely.
Arno Hive.
R.I.P. Max. Okay, so here's what you need to know. Donald Trump went to the wreath-laying ceremony. And according to a source who told NPR, there was an altercation at the ceremony between a representative from Arlington National and a Trump campaign staffer, where I guess the representative tried to block the Trump campaign staffer from getting through. And according to the source, maybe some hands were laid, some people were moved, some language was used. Okay. Now, the wreath-laying ceremony, the actual ceremony, took place at Section 60, which is dedicated to 900 service members who were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a hallowed place. It's a very serious place, Section 60 in Arlington National. And I guess the cemetery told, according to the cemetery, they said no photographer can go to Section 60. Okay. And
Yeah, but then they took pictures of him all day because I saw all the articles of Trump.
you did see that. Now, there's been an argument going back and forth. Trump's campaign spokesperson, Stephen Chung, said the fact that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, the fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises. Okay. And someone who was suffering from a mental health episode tried to physically block members of President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony. Okay. And the campaign manager, Chris LaCivita, said, quote, for a despicable individual to physically prevent Trump's team from accompanying him to this solemn event is a disgrace. Okay. And the families of 3 or 4 of the service people that died, they gave this statement. Hey, we've given our approval for President Trump's official videographer and photographer to attend the event, ensuring these sacred moments of remembrance were respectfully captured so we can cherish these memories forever. J.D. Vance said, Kamala Harris can go to hell. Okay. So this is what was said. But the reason why there was an argument about this, why there's a political back and forth, is there's a national law, federal law, that prevents political campaign or election-related activities at Section 60 in direct support of a partisan political candidate's campaign, essentially, right? So you can't use Arlington National.
But the whole thing about when they were putting the pictures out, they were like, look, Kamala doesn't care about the anniversary, Trump does. And so this is just a response. They're like, well, actually, you broke a campaign law. So it's just a tit for tat kind of thing, right?
Well, yeah, it's a tit for tat. But the whole reason about the law is that you can't, like, I don't know, like they don't want you to like make a commercial or something out of you going to the ceremony. Oh, shit. Here's a commercial Donald Trump made.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, they were doing it the day up.
Great people. What a horrible day it was. We didn't lose one person in 18 months. And then they took over that disaster, the leaving of Afghanistan.
That was the dude who testified before Congress. It was a really crazy testimony. The dude with the fake lips, moving the leg.
Right. Anyway, that's exactly what they didn't want you to do.
That's why they were just trying to block him. Yeah, I also I was looking while you're talking about.
I mean, that was a horrible tragedy.
Yeah, I was looking for the image. It doesn't surprise me because, you know, after RFK was asking for Secret Service and then the whole Trump like attempted assassination, I don't know if he's gotten like bigger guys around him or what, but there's a hilarious picture of Trump and RFK like walking backstage after the endorsement, and like they take like a candid shot and there's just this humongous doofus like trying to get out of shot. Like, I don't know if he's Secret Service.
He's the human. Oh
my God, he's enormous and he just can't get out of it. There's just no way you're getting him out of the shot.
I think that would have been fine if he didn't mention the 18 months. Like, that was the politicized aspect of the video. Like him going there and honoring and all that kind of stuff. fine. But then he started being like, if I was in office, this never would have happened, that kind of stuff, right?
Right. I mean,
Well, it's like they overlaid
Yeah.
they overlaid one of his speeches to the video.
And to be clear, he was allowed to have a photographer there, right? And they just couldn't go to Section 60. They just couldn't photograph someone at the most sacred moment. And the family said, hey, they want him there. That's okay, but that's not their call. They specifically don't politicize this sacred area. That's all.
Okay,
and that's,
so the Dems are saying you broke the law. Trump's saying you got these 13 killed.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, the reason he's doing it is because the debate's coming up, guys.
Right? I mean,
It's just like when the Indian chief says it's okay to have the Redskins, but then someone else says it's not okay.
Well, there's just
Like
a
a white
law
person.
saying like don't film you honoring troops, then use it in a political ad, essentially.
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is
I go with
exactly
the
what he did.
family.
It would be Wes. It would be like the Indian chief saying it's okay, and then the NFL commissioner saying it's not okay because the NFL commissioner would be the people in charge of Arlington.
That's what I'm saying.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Yeah, only 3 families came out and said that, so not all 13, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, the reason they did that is because the debate's coming up. They're going to hammer the Harris-Walz campaign on pull out of Afghanistan. That's going to be the numero uno situation. There's been a back and forth. The debate's scheduled for September 10. The big issue is the muting of the mics. Okay, the Harris campaign wants the mics unmuted because they want Trump to F up. Now, Trump previously would have liked the mics unmuted, but then he had the mics muted last time, and now he's thinking maybe I like the mics muted. So that's what they're going back and forth on. Who knows if it's been agreed to?
the mic muting actually helped Trump because it stops him from interrupting people.
Right.
So it makes him seem much more sane when you can't hear all the little things he's saying.
Well, and also like his interruptions and like in between his turns when he's like just talking shit. He's just saying
right. Yeah, he'll just be.
It just mutes his absolute shit talking. Yeah.
Lies.
Right.
Rug. Yeah.
Anyway, the other big news, sorry went long, is that Harris is finally doing a long form interview. It's going to be on CNN. Comes out tomorrow, today, Thursday. Issue is she's doing it with her VP, Tim Walz, which is weird. Obviously, you pick a vice president to like make your package look a little bit more attractive. But if you're like, why the fuck is she doing this, dude? Why can't
that
she
tells
just
me
sit down?
that Walz is polling really well. He's like, he's kind of like likable and like
But that's also like this also like is the biggest dig against Kamala. It's basically like from like it's like Dan Quayle.
Right, she should do it on her own.
Run for president, right? And like that's what from an outsider looking in, you're like, this is maybe the dumbest vice president their party has ever had, and now she's the candidate. All of a sudden, her taking her VP into it is like
if he's there the whole time, that's
confidence.
weird. If he's there the whole
They're
time,
scared.
it's weird. If he's just in for like a segment, that's probably better. But
It's the whole time. He's gonna be there the whole time. They're trying to not fuck up. Essentially, they're like, "Hey, maybe if we don't
but
fuck up, we have a
when
better
you're trying
chance."
to win votes of people. It's like, and they already are like, well, this is like watching Dan Quayle try to run for president, and that this is just backing that up. It's like you need to see some confidence and some go getterness
or
from
maybe
her.
they don't think he's well known enough yet.
It could be a latent sexism thing too, like concern that people are gonna.
I think what she's trying
If
to
she's going to be the president, she has to be able to fucking
yeah,
get on her own.
explains everything.
I think what Kamala is trying to say.
But yeah, Trump has taken a cue from her camp and is now backing away from traditional media because she hasn't done any traditional media. The debate's going to be the thing. I think we saw in the last debate, right? That
September 10th.
it's going to happen September 10th.
They're
they're
claiming he might back out, but it'll
they're
happen.
running ads with a chicken clucking behind Trump. Trump talking right now. He's going to show up, and the debates are Super Bowl. So we'll see you on the 10th.
Yes, live stream.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys, this is one of these mountains. I think the biggest one is Mount Chavano, and according to Google, it is a high mountain summit in the southern Sawatch range of the Rocky Mountains. Now, the 14,230 foot 14er, as mountaineers call peaks over 14,000 feet. It's a cool term for them. There's a flag climb the 14er. Is located in San Isabel National Forest, Colorado, Chaffee County. So I asked ChatGPT what the typical height above sea level for a beginner hiker should be if they want to, scale a mountain.
Did you give me your stats?
No.
Wait.
Right,
Chat
Beard
GPT.
smoking.
No, they would have said, "You go climb the top of your street."
Start with the stairs,
overweight.
sir.
Start with the street.
Light dandruff issue on certain days.
So I don't have any dandruff because the stars.
No,
It's generally recommended to start with mountains that are not too high to ensure safety and acclimatization. And they say the maximum should be around 9,800 to 13,000 feet, so above sea level. So you add in Colorado to a 14er. I mean, Mark can attest to the thin air in Colorado. I've never heard a noise come out of a human
When he went up the stairs.
when he went up the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do a 14, that's for sure. But I also don't think that when they say 9,000, you're not going up 9,000 feet. You're already starting at like 7. You're really only going up like 2,000 feet. They're just saying once you get past 9,000, 10,000,
Right.
it is tougher air.
The problem is, exactly. Once you're at the higher altitudes, the hike is harder. Yeah.
Dude,
much harder.
a lot of the green rooms at the venues in Colorado have oxygen machines.
Yeah, it's
Never
no joke.
seen that before. It's just a
So
thing.
you can acclimatize, especially if you flew in. Because like if you flew in from somewhere like sea level, it's going to be a big change to go up there. That high.
Now, I mean, this is a Colorado company. I assume they all, have gotten kind of used to the high elevations, but not one guy. So when a group of coworkers decided that a smart company retreat would be to summit Mount Chavano, they clearly didn't consider that the trek might not be the easiest for everyone. And again, for one man, we're just going to call him Gary. It didn't. This is not Gary. This is
no, that's Gary.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably Gary. So they didn't take into consideration that Gary probably shouldn't be on this trip. So
Gary
this
looks
past-
like he's going to marry a couple Siamese twins. Is what? Just an FYI. If you're listening.
Oh, he's been
yeah.
roving the mail order bride websites.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So this past Sunday,
He looks like the nicer version of the guy who married the mom killer that what's her face?
Oh yeah,
Valentine.
Gypsy Rose. Yeah.
Oh, Gypsy Rose. Yeah.
Gypsians.
so they were like, hey, let's do this bonding experience. We'll climb this 14er. And they did this on Sunday. Now, one part of the group decided to summit because they knew their limits. And then one decided to stay in between the peaks, which is called the saddle, which is like the lowest point between two
We
peaks.
know this. We know all the terms.
Okay, good. I'm just
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Then,
No, we don't know.
But Gary decided he was going to wear all black to be to climb this summit in the summer day of August in Colorado. And around
Well, he doesn't own any t-shirts.
Right.
Only black. Gary doesn't have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
So he loses 20 pounds every shirt, like he's not
So-
wearing white horizontal stripes.
Yeah. So as they climbed, Gary naturally fell behind. But he was determined he was going to make the summit. And at 11:30, he actually did make the summit. But he was so
PM or AM?
AM.
Okay.
At 11:30 a.m. he made the summit. I guess they
Except there at 11:30 p.m. by himself.
well, wait,
What time do they start?
probably 4 a.m. But
No,
anyway,
these usually it's probably like 8, 7 a.m. Probably.
I don't know.
He's
I don't know how
supposed
long.
to take 2 hours. It probably took him 4 hours. Something.
Yeah. But the air was so thin that Gary became disoriented, and by this time the rest of the group had already left him. But he trekked on. He's like, I'm going to do it. They left him behind because he had fallen behind. So
They left him at the summit, or they left him on the
No,
way?
before
left
the
him-
summit.
They left him on the way to the summit, and then he decided he was going to make the summit, and then he got all disoriented. And
They passed him on the way back. No one passed him on the way back. I was like, "You're still
I don't know
going
if
there?"
they passed him on the way back. But what they did do is after they abandoned him, he began his descent back all alone, and he found that the markers, the belongings left in the boulder field to mark the path for the way back down were picked up by his group. So they were like, fuck Gary, let's pick up the marker so he has nowhere to go, doesn't know where to go. And we'll keep going.
The bread?
down the mountain.
You mean the breadcrumbs?
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah. They blew away the breadcrumbs for Gary.
Yeah, they big bad wolfed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fucked Gary
So
over.
He's all disoriented. He hikes down. He has no idea where to go. He he found himself on a steep boulder and scree field, which is like, I guess, where boulders fall off. Not where you want to be. It's like the side of the mountain. And so Gary got a little worried.
The right way.
Yeah,
No.
it's just, I
Gary's-
cannot get down
Gary's
this
li-
way.
Looking around, and then he looks at
I'm
himself
slipping.
and realizes that he's a boulder.
Yeah, it's just him and a couple goats.
No way they went down this way. So he got scared.
Okay, what the hell's this idiot?
Gary
over
got
here?
scared. Luckily,
You think they were watching Gary through binoculars the whole time?
No, but they were. What's hilarious is that he sent them a pin drop. He's like, guys, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. So he sent them a pin drop on his phone. And they got the pin and they were like, look at where Gary is. What an idiot.
Oh my God. Is Gary trying to share his location with you guys too?
Yeah. So they were like, Gary, moron, you're in the wrong place. You got to climb back up the trail, back up the mountain to regain the trail. So he's like, oh, fuck me.
So slippery.
Yeah. He's
Dude,
like, yeah. So
there's no HR person at this company.
Jagged rocks.
Right.
did you guys go down this cliff face or what? So they're like, go back up, numbnuts. And so he climbs back up. Then about 4 hours later, he almost made his way back.
Wait.
It's 3 p.m.
No one went to go meet him at the summit.
No, they left. They went back to the hotel.
Well,
they
that
left
makes sense. No one meets him at the summit, but when he starts sharing his location or dropping pins, that's when someone needs to be like, all right, I hate him, but I gotta go check on Gary.
Right. That's what I'm saying, Pat. I'm saying that when they tell him to go back up the mountain when he's stuck, someone should have been there to meet him where they were.
Is Gary the boss? Right. Like, because if the boss should stay with the binoculars in the parking lot and be like, okay,
he's in IT. Will.
It was my idea. I'll stay here and make sure Gary survives.
Yeah, they're just coming up with nicknames for Gary back at the retreat.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Dead Gary.
Fun of Gary. One person. All it took was one person to just stay and watch for Gary.
No, they didn't apparently. So about 4 hours later, at around 4 p.m., Gary'd almost made it back to the right trailhead, but at the same time, he was like, okay, I don't think this is right. So he dropped another pin to his selfish coworkers. But then as soon as he sent that pin, a storm came through with freezing rain and high winds. So they're looking at his pin. They were looking at the radar like, oh, Gary's about to get hammered.
Yeah, the raincoat.
Yeah. He's about to get soaked with freezing rain. Yeah. So knowing Gary is in all black and it would be harder to see him at night, it wasn't until 9 p.m. after his coworkers had a nice dinner for 14 did they contact the search and rescue of Chaff County to call about poor Gary. So this was at 4 p.m. last pin.
And so they let him sit out there for 5 hours in the rain before telling anybody.
Yeah, they didn't call search and rescue until 9 p.m. when
They
was
left
totally
at
dark.
Park's like
He's in all
they
black
left
and
at
it's completely dark.
6:30 in the morning. They left.
Okay, yeah. So
just 13 hours later they call.
Right, it's like,
dude, Gary needs to quit and get a lawyer.
Here's a little news clip to tell you what went into finding Gary.
This was a huge response.
2 helicopters, 4 dog teams, drones, and at least 50 search and rescue team members looking for one person.
We see it all the time of, someone's a little faster, someone's a little slower.
So Gary was a little slower.
Someone, not everyone.
Right.
Whose resources is it, federal or state? Because I mean, whichever government that is, they should get some money back from that company.
State.
County, state. I mean, it was a legit search and rescue with helicopters and shit.
Dude, the boss whose idea that was to go hiking, this is all on them.
Well, also Gary needs to quit. Regardless, Gary's got to get.
Gary's going to win a lawsuit, brother.
He can probably sue, but he needs to also quit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's up there.
Nobody respects him there.
He's covered in an inch layer of ice, and he's plotting people's deaths.
If the company hasn't already fired the manager who didn't wait for Gary, they probably should, because they should get ready for court.
He rolls back to the resort, covered in ice at 11 p.m. There's still a few guys at the bar. They're like, "Whoa, dead Gary!
Dead Gary! You feel stronger?
We thought you were dead."
He's passed out. So because of the freezing rain and winds, they couldn't use the drone, and it was dark out, so they couldn't see this dummy in all black. And so they had to wait till the next morning. And finally, Gary eventually made his way to a point where he was able to use his cell phone again. They found him above the North Fork drainage in a gully. And they said that he had become disoriented. He fell 20 times during his attempt to get back. And at one point, he fell and was so injured that he couldn't move anymore. So,
dude, lawsuit city. Yeah.
He's like, they called 911. Was like, I'm in a gully and I'm injured, and they left me. They
found him wounded, just with like a stick that he'd drawn the names of all of his coworkers into the dirt.
He's making his list.
So
list.
he definitely made a list. So eventually he was found. They brought him back. He's alive. He's okay. They said that they eventually would have found him because it's like a normal search area that they would look for people. But because it would have been a lot longer, they found him. But luckily he had his cell phone. So yeah, people were people all over the internet were not happy. They were basically hey, we left him behind. So Gary's fine, but probably going to get a little severance package from that company. And maybe
they released the company and Gary doesn't quit.
No, I couldn't find the company. I couldn't find the actual name of Gary.
They're scrambling to disassociate.
They're keeping it hush. It is 15 people total.
Yeah, 15 people
14
total,
jerks.
including Gary.
Oh, dude, I hope, and pray for Gary's sake that it was a giant corporation, because then he's going to just get paid.
Yeah.
If I'm working on that team, I'm definitely sending a gag like happy hour about like hiking, like in the near future if he's still there.
Yeah. He's going to show up in crutches to the
They're
office.
drinking Coors Lights. Were the mountains blue, Gary?
Yeah, were the mountains as blue as your lips, buddy?
We thought you were dead. Tiller's doing a great job in the live comments. And 2025's team building day will be an escape room, Gary.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You just keep torturing this guy.
Pretty fucked up, but luckily Gary's okay.
No, dude, that's the best day of Gary's life. He's going to be fucking set. Every lawyer,
Right. Well, it's the worst day of his life, which will be
is contacting him today.
Yeah.
Please, Gary, let me take this case.
Yes.
We all know who this guy was. He's the guy in the office who is so not well liked that they're willing to leave him behind.
Yeah, he's
willing to
Milton
let
from
him
The
die.
Office, but
Yeah.
Milton from The Office ends up winning because you can only shit on someone for so long.
Yeah,
till they literally or
insane.
figuratively burn the house down.
Yeah, incredible story from Gary.
Fucking Gary, legend. All right, so let's move on to another legend real quick. Armie Hammer, the latest on him. Flesh off a move back to LA. Movie star, heir to the Hammer fortune, and alleged cannibal. Armie Hammer has made a big splash on social media this week. Have you guys seen the video that I'm referring to?
I have not.
No.
I saw a video, but I wasn't sure if it was recent or not. Did you do Andy Cohen?
No, it's just him straight to camera from Tuesday of this week. So last time we heard from Armie, he was selling timeshares in Hawaii, something like that. And then, of course, that was following all the bad press, the DMs, the restraining orders, the legal troubles due to the alleged cannibalism, right?
Yeah.
But he's back. He's back in LA, allegedly working hard on himself, and he's not dipping into the family fortune to bail himself out this time, he says. And don't take it from me. Take it from his personal description of him selling his truck that he posted to Instagram on Tuesday. Take a listen to this.
So I've been back in LA for a couple of weeks now. This is my truck. I bought this for myself in 2017 as a Christmas gift for myself, because I've had pickup trucks for a long time, and I have loved this truck intensely and taken it camping and across country multiple times and on long road trips. And I took it for one last road trip to CarMax. This is not an ad for CarMax.
Silverado?
This is because I'm selling my truck.
GMC.
Since being back in LA, I have put about $400 or $500 worth of gas in it, and I can't afford it. I can't afford the gas anymore.
He's very handsome. It
Truck,
goes on.
like kids home from the hospital, all that stuff.
Hell, he loves the truck.
Amazing.
Anyways, I'm not going to play the whole thing
So
for
he's
you.
doing a sympathy tour.
Yes. He really loves the truck. It's memories. It's must. It's
So
fleshy,
I ate a few people.
leather
Look at me
interior.
now.
One
Yeah.
last trip with a woman's face on my face across country.
Yeah. I got the truck because it can hold 8 carcasses in the back.
He's always been a truck guy. He noted that, and he's regretful that he has to scale down to the Prius or whatever the hybrid is that he's going to get. But yeah, I mean, he says he's moving on from this whole cannibalism stuff, and hopefully that's the case.
Is he moving on, or does he want all of us to move on while he?
Well, no, he wants all of us to move on. He wants Mark, to be clear, he wants all of us to move on, but he says he's moving on as well. I mean, he's such a great actor. You can't really tell if he's serious or not, because that's how good he is. Taking it to the internet for the top reply to Armie's post from a blessed CME, they say, your net worth is an estimated at $16 million. if you were concerned about gas, why did you buy a huge truck? I'm glad you're going to buy something greener, and I hope you donate your truck to an organic farm.
And then the second comment was from Lisa Simp 32, who said, "Eat me."
Yeah. Most of the comments were from Lisa Simp 32 saying, "Eat me." Many replies pointing out to Blessed CME that his net worth has dropped significantly after he couldn't work anymore starting in 2021.
Well, he got cut off by his family. I think.
Well, I was going to say, Pat, because his family's worth billions, right?
Well, I got a little inside. I have a little inside baseball on this.
No.
They're not billionaires, but they're like Beverly Hills rich, like maybe worth like $10 million as a family kind of thing.
I've got the stats on that, Pat. Okay. So it's hard to imagine that the $200 million his family was worth in 1986 has all dried up. But allegedly it is, like Pat says, around the, low single digit, double digit low millions at this point amongst them. And apparently he's not taking up any of their charity on this. They've said, hey, you need to kick this cannibalism. Okay, Armie. So hope Armie really is doing better, because even though you can't tell anything about the allegations from that video, the talent, the acting talent is clear. You can see that. CarMax should pay him for that ad, because that's the best publicity they're going to get. Because
does he have any movies that are on TV a lot? Like TBS or USA?
Probably so.
What's the spy movie with him and the guy who played Superman, Henry Cavill? That's always on TV.
I bet his royalty checks are probably like maybe $8,000 a month would be my guess.
I mean, I want to see him starring in the cannibalism documentary about himself. I might not be good for his recovery, but I'd love to watch it, because he seems like a great actor.
Death on the Nile, The Lone Ranger, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Call Me by Your Name. He's been some big ones.
And Pat, because I didn't play the whole video,
Cars 3.
I need to tell you, he shares your birthday. He shares your birthday, Pat.
Hell yeah, love that.
He was selling his truck on his birthday. So
handsome guys, couple of handsome guys.
That's right. Great actors, I'd say. Both of you. So
wow. You know who fucked him is J-Lo.
A thespian.
J-Lo ruined his career because she backed out of that movie she was starring with after she heard about the text messages. He was going to make another $5 million on that movie, and she was like, "I'm not doing the film with a cannibal," and so that was the end of his career.
I think it was the
it really.
Issue.
Well, he could have cashed in one last time. Is all I'm saying.
He's trying to come back, and as you can see, he still has his steely good looks and his acting ability. Now, regardless of whether he's changed at all on the inside, you don't know, but you can tell he can act still.
If Mel Gibson can come back, he can come back.
Yeah. Right.
Real quick, B Fox asking me if my gums are bothering me. No, I just broke my breaker. So don't worry about that. Just
fine. Speaking of Lucy's, don't you have something to tell us about Chubbies? Well,
oh man, I sure do. Chubbies, you know them. The best brand for men's apparel you could possibly get. The shorts, the iconic Chubbies shorts, the 5.5-inch inseam. It shows off just enough of your thigh to make them absolutely irresistible to anybody. It's a science they've perfected. They've got elastic waistbands, which is super comfortable anytime you're going to go to like a seafood buffet in the summer, or coming up in the holidays when you're going to eat a lot. You can just pop your Chubbies on, then you don't have to worry about it. Your stomach can expand as much as you want. Comfort. Okay. They have the Friday shirts, the button-ups, beautiful shirts. You can wear them to work. You can wear them to party. That's the best part about Chubbies clothes. They're versatile. You can wear Chubbies anywhere. The shorts are versatile. You can take them to the shorts. You can take them to the beach, but they're also like nice enough where you can wear them out to like, a nice dinner maybe. The Friday shirt, same thing. Beautiful button-ups.
They're comfortable. Really comfortable.
I've slept in my Chubby shorts.
Oh,
slept in them
all the time, on accident usually, but I do it on purpose too because they're that comfortable.
Like, why would I change into something more comfortable to go to sleep in? Because I don't have anything more comfortable. I'll just go to sleep in the Chubbies I was wearing all day.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically man pajamas that you can wear during the day. And for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order, your whole order, with our exclusive code. Use code HARDFACTOR at chubbyshorts.com to get that 20% off. You got the original stretch shorts available in the 4, 5.5, and 7-inch inseam links. So no matter what you like your shorts to look like, they have the perfect fit for you. They have the Friday shirts, like we've all been saying, beautiful. Whoever you're, going after romantically, they're going to like the way you look in that. They have the Chubbies Classic Line swim collection. They have everything you need. You can just stock up on your entire wardrobe using our promo code. And would you look at that, folks? For a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code HARDFACTOR at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with promo code HARDFACTOR at chubbyshorts.com. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Embrace the freedom to move, the confidence to shine, and the style to stand out with Chubbies.
Hell yeah. All right, I got 2 quick ones for you. I didn't do a lot on these, so we'll get through them. We'll do the bad news first.
Perfect.
Bad news first is what I heard earlier. It's actually good news depending on how you feel about AI, but some bad news for sure for one particular fella. AI is not there yet, guys. It's not. Don't ask me, ask German journalist Martin Bernklau, who decided to look up what came up for his name when asking about it in Microsoft Bing Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI language model, similar to ChatGPT that comes like auto-installed to Microsoft Office. So it's just huge.
Right.
It's like millions and millions of people use Microsoft Bing Copilot instead of ChatGPT because Microsoft said you have to.
And all those search engines are now just building their AI into the search engine too.
Yeah, that's how Microsoft became somehow, again, the most valuable company in the world, essentially, other than, well, ahead of Apple. Right.
Yeah, they just force
their AI stuff.
Use this. Yeah, so this is their big one. So this poor bastard who has been a court reporter for the past 4 years typed in something like, "What do you know about Martin Bernklau?" which is him. And these AI language models are not allowed to return information on private citizens, but they are allowed to return information on public figures. And since Martin publishes a lot of articles, it returns some stuff. The thing is, it wasn't
ourselves up.
Probably, yeah. The thing is, it wasn't able to tell that Martin was the author of these articles describing horrible criminals and crimes, and instead thought he was the most notorious criminal of all time that was just bragging about his own crimes in his articles. So it came back and it said, it's just not the best reading comprehension. It came back and said, whoa, Martin Bernklau is a psycho. First of all, he's a pedophile. He's a mass murderer. He's robbed banks. Like basically just a list of crimes and dates from articles you covered.
You thought it was
a crime reporter?
Yeah. All the crimes he reported on got associated to him in Microsoft Bing Copilot, which any of the like 200 million users could search for. Obviously, not a lot of people probably would, but if you type it in,
it was the first time.
You're going to find out that Martin Bernklau is the biggest psychopath in the history of the world. So that
testing by Martin Bernklau.
Yeah, it was not what he wanted to see or get, though.
How big is Martin Bernklou's dong?
Yeah. And they're like, well, before we get to that, here's a list of the crimes he's committed.
Yeah, it's tough.
Doesn't matter. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see this guy's dong. Let me tell you why.
Yeah. Exactly.
He knew it was so fake that he just reported it to them, and they were like, we're so sorry, Martin Bernklau.
Yeah, I mean, he at first he was confused, and he was angry, then he laughed, and he was like, what do I do? I just don't
communicating with tech companies works, Will.
Yeah, it was super easy.
Write it.
It was super easy. He
True.
Got
it would never apologize. Yeah.
Can he sue for that? It's like slander.
He's starting to now because
Liable?
they didn't listen to him and they didn't take it down when we reached out to him. So because he didn't want other people to search for it and find this out and maybe come seek vigilante justice on him or whatever. He just didn't want that.
That seems like when he's reporting an AI results issue, that seems like something those companies should like put out right away because that's a liability for them going forward.
According to him, they ignored him. It was hard to get in touch. They didn't do anything. So he finally had his lawyers send a cease and desist demand to Microsoft. And he said that they took down the information for 3 days. So that lasted all of 3 days. So now he's at his wit's end and he's gone public with it to major news corporations. And he said, I didn't want to do that either because that brings to light people are going to search for me now too, just by going public with it. But I had no other
thing that
alternative.
Martin Bernklau
won't help out.
He doesn't get it that nobody cares but Martin Bernklau. So he needs to just go the court route and that's it. And
he's got illusions of grandeur. The only person that cares about Martin Bernklau is Microsoft Copilot Bing.
Yeah, they care a little now.
Yeah,
because of the lawsuit.
Right. The AI is going to get him first. Like this maniac. So he's working it out. Bad news for him. I do have some good news today.
He can never get a cyborg piece in his body.
Yeah, no. The AI is never going to forgive him no matter what happens. Good news today. Martin Shkreli, this piece of shit that got rich and famous for selling Daraprim, a drug used to treat toxoplasmosis in AIDS patients at a 4,280% markup, 4,280.
That's free market, Mark. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, we all hate him, and now he's been ordered to return his rare Wu-Tang Clan album "Once Upon a Time in Shaolin" by the courts.
Yeah.
So
that was the ruling, like everybody hates you. Give us back the Wu-Tang.
He violated the terms, I believe.
That's it, Pat. He always violates the terms. He in every business venture he's ever been in, he's violated the terms. He was like the only guy that had that record, and the courts are saying he illegally made copies of the album. Shocker. And as they say, Wu-Tang Clan is for the children, not adult scumbags that profit off AIDS patients.
Apparently, the RZA called the other guys. The Wu-Tang Clan was like, some guy's gonna buy it. Someone's gonna pay $1 million for it
too,
because or whatever. It was not tracks that they were gonna put out anyway, and it was most like Wu-Tang family members, and not Clan members.
Well, a lot of them are dead. He legally bought the only copy of the album for $2 million back in 2013. That was seized back in 2017 with $7.4 million in assets for his security fraud convictions, because when he was he's just whatever he does fraudulently. But going against that agreement, he was not supposed to commercially distribute the album until 21 and 3. So not for never, basically. It wasn't allowed to be distributed until 8 years from now. But what he does, he live streamed it, which went against it. He was allowed to play it at house parties. He live streamed it, and then he started making copies and trying to sell them on eBay. So.
Wow. So you just broke the terms, from the start, from the jump. Yeah.
He breaks the terms. That's what he does. Wow. And I love to see his balls getting broken. Love to see Shkreli getting slammed. That's the good news of the day.
Talking about just nailing him to a dresser.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him asshole shut and then just feeding him.
Yeah.
Feeding him.
Feeding him.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Pat. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. But I believe he would be left behind on a company hike unless he was the CEO. And maybe even he's the Gary. And that's the show.
He's definitely the Gary.
Yeah. And that's the show.
Gary. Yeah.
Happy birthday to Pat. Happy birthday to Armie Hammer and anyone else, my sister, anyone else born on the 28th and this week. We love you all. Get out there and have a great fucking day.
Say bye.